Hi, everybody. That wonderful panel. It's tough to follow those guys. But we wanted to talk a little bit today, of course, about opportunities and partnerships, which is what we've been doing for all morning. And we've heard throughout the morning just about the importance of American innovation, American leadership, and what it takes to win in the world, which is the theme of our conference. So now we're going to go to a series of seminars this afternoon, talking about the opportunities and specifically talking about them in several areas: global health, humanitarian assistance, food security, also with development assistance, and then really expanding markets for American goods around the world, all of which, of course, is really the future of foreign assistance, which is what we're talking about today as well. So as a primer going into some of these breakout sessions, we wanted to bring a couple of experts up on stage who had a front row seat in the first Trump administration, really looking at foreign assistance. And so the three of us actually served in the first Trump administration. I was the assistant administrator for legislative and public affairs at USAID. Matt was actually the chief of staff for the PEPFAR office, which you just heard a lot about from Bill Steiger and others, and then was also in the secretary's office at the State Department. Jim was with me at USAID for a short time, but then he went over to run the Foreign Assistance Bureau at the State Department. So Jim actually controlled all of the money, actually, that was going out to foreign assistance.
Congress controlled the money.
Most of it. So
I just
respect it really well.
Yeah, I just respected their authorities. So.
And we're also joined by a number of other colleagues that we had in the Bush administration and the Bush administration, and also in the Trump administration for some of the seminars this afternoon. Bonnie Glick, who's the deputy administrator for USAID when we were there, and then also Kim Reed, who is the chair of the Export-Import Bank, and they'll be in some of the sessions later on this afternoon. So I wanted to ask just a couple of questions of Matt and Jim before we jump in here, and really just two questions. So we just heard Matt with Bill Steiger and with Maggie, they were talking about a lot of the innovations around global health. So I wanted to ask, what are you seeing that's really innovative that's coming out from the current administration?
Sure.
What should we be looking at? What are they doing right? And just what are some of your impressions of things that are coming out right now?
Thanks, Richard. And one of the beauties of how PEPFAR in particular was constructed back in the early 2000s was it had special carve-outs for public-private partnerships in a way that made it much easier for the private sector to be engaged in the successes that you saw PEPFAR have. And if you look back in Trump 1, that was partnerships like we had with MenStar, where you do self-testing and other issues. I think the really exciting one is really the advancements in the prevention and treatment. So you have long-term acting PrEP, lenacapavir, the public-private partnership that Global Health Security Diplomacy and the State Department launched with Gilead, the number of free doses that they're putting out there. I mean, if every single individual who could potentially contract HIV in the continent takes lenacapavir, once every couple months, you're going to stop the disease, and that's without actually a vaccine or a treatment. That's incredible progress, and so that's just one example. You had the S.C. Johnson announcement that they announced just a couple weeks ago with the Global Fund, where they're using spatial emanators on going after mosquitoes and how they go after malaria. And so I think all of that wrapped into this new innovation fund that they're really focused on and making that a core priority of the global health security strategy just shows you the immense amount of opportunity there is for the private sector to play a role, and this administration is embracing that, not pushing them away.
All right, great. Thanks, Matt. Jim, let me talk about the broader foreign assistance structure outside of global health. So you manage that whole portfolio. So what are you seeing that the administration is doing that's really innovative that you're excited about?
Yeah, I mean, and there's some innovative pieces and there's some sort of back to the future moments. One of the things that I think is really interesting is this true alignment of development and diplomacy. Two things that are critically important. They're both distinct, but the administration really has, obviously through the absorbing of USAID, has really sort of pushed that to the forefront. And I think there really are some opportunities sort of built in there. The other piece, I'll just jump on Matt's conversation, was really about the private sector. And during the first Trump administration, USAID launched its first private sector engagement initiative. It was great. It didn't go far enough. This administration is really taking that to the next level, looking for opportunities to really link what the benefit to the American people is to our international investments and our international assistance work. So whether that's through security or economic or health, really looking to sort of push the envelope to say, how does this benefit Americans? That's a great conversation for us to be having, because we believe it, right? We believe that international development assistance does benefit Americans, and the language that the Trump administration, some inartfully use, sometimes it's okay, but they really do push that, and I think that's really helpful. The last thing I will say is so many of the infrastructure that was found at USAID is now starting to be replicated in the State Department, which I think is really important for us to recognize the opportunities there, to understand that they are starting to have to rebuild the personnel, the infrastructure, the processes. This was all to be expected. I thought it would probably take a couple more years for that to actually come to fruition, but we're really starting to see it sort of firsthand right now.
Thanks. So second question, just as we go into these seminars this afternoon, what are the questions that we should be asking with the administration and things that are happening? What are some of the things that you would like to see them do a little bit more of, Matt? So we'll start with you in the global health space.
Well, I would say ask them how we can be doing more faster. Because that's really where we all want to go, right? And I'm a big believer you want to defend the outcome of the program, not necessarily the process to get there. So how can we actually get there faster? What new partnerships can maybe you bring to them? Because they're looking for inputs right now. And I think that's actually one thing this administration's been remarkably strong in the last year and a half, is if you come in as a private citizen with a good idea, they've got an open door for you. So I'd say, what can we do to help you? How can we move faster? And I'd also, looking at the strategy, you're going to see a lot of organizations like faith-based organizations and others really brought into the fold, talking to them about how they're going to structure those programs as a key element as well.
All right, great. Jim, your thoughts?
Like my former boss would always say, the world is on fire. What are we going to do to fix it? And the world is on fire, right? I mean, there's so many crises, so many challenges facing the global community right now. We have the opportunity to insist that international development assistance be a tool in that toolbox to help solve those problems. We know it works. We know it can be impactful. We're just looking to make sure that those assistance programs are part of those tools that we are using to solve the world's largest challenges.
All right. Thank you both. And so with that, we will send you off to your seminars for the afternoon.